Good afternoon. My name is Craig Cook, and I'm here today to talk to you about what you should do before first meeting with a lawyer regarding an automobile or big truck accident case. Big truck accident cases and automobile cases have some similarities between them. If an automobile accident, bring accident report, photos of any injuries to yourself, the scene, the car, your health insurance card, automobile declaration page and policy. Next, list of all medical providers you have seen as a result of the accident, pharmacies you have gotten medications as a result of the wreck, and a list of all medical providers you have seen for the past 10 years prior to the wreck. Let me unpack that for you, why you need to have all those items and the one that may be the most important. There's been numerous cases that I've had in the past where you have people who come in, looks like on the front end they're injured, either with a back, neck, or other injuries. And then you get into the file, and when you're sitting for your deposition, defense counsel starts asking about, have you ever been to the doctor for this particular type of injury? And clients usually say no. Well, sometimes in the medical record, even though you think as a client that nothing has been complained of previously in regards to your back or neck, there will be a notation in that record, 9 times out of 10, having you complain to the same or similar problem that you're having as a result of this accident. Now, not to the extent, but anyway, it's still complaining. And so what the defense lawyer will do, or the insurance companies, will come in and say, okay, you're not really hurt, you were already hurt, and we didn't do anything to make your harm any worse. That is why it is imperative that when you come in and see us, or whatever attorney that you do see, that you tell them all the places you've been to the doctor, hospital, chiropractor, especially chiropractors, and especially doctors too, but especially chiropractors. Because if I'm able to get that information before you sit for your deposition, then I'm able to talk to you about that and how to answer that question, not to be caught off guard. So whenever the lawyer asks you about it, you're able to explain, yes, I had this kind of injury to X, neck, back, leg, whatever, but it's not to the extent, and you'll notice that I've not been to the doctor for this same or similar pain for over 5 years. And if you're able to explain to the lawyer at that time that you don't have something that's lingered on right up to the wreck, then they cannot use it against you, or their credibility will be less upon the jury if they try to talk about that at the trial. So it's just always good to make sure we get all those previous medical records. The reason you also ask and get the declaration page is to know how much in policy that you have, because a lot of times, back whenever the minimums were enacted in Arkansas and Oklahoma, $25,000 was like $100 or $200 now. Well, $25,000 isn't $25,000 like it was 10 or 15 years ago. So most of the time, whenever you have an automobile accident or a big truck wreck, involving a big truck wreck, then you have damages that exceed the $25,000. So that's how come you need your declaration page to see if you have what's called underinsured motorist coverage, if the other person that hits you has insurance. Sometimes you'll get hit by somebody that has no insurance, and that is what we look at on your declaration pages, uninsured motorist coverage. Also, in regards to getting some of your medical bills paid for, or just collecting monies from your own insurance carrier, you want to see if you've got personal injury protection or MedPay protection. Sometimes they have disability benefits under those policies. Sometimes they have rental car benefits under those policies. So you need to make sure that you get the declaration page into your office, into the lawyer's office. One other side note that's becoming more and more prevalent or occurring more regularly, and especially in automobile accident cases, is, like say for instance, somebody hits you, they're totally at fault, they T-bone you, your car can't run, there you are. You will not hear a peep from the other side who hit you, who destroyed your car, who made it where you have to borrow or beg to get a ride to go places. They will not pay for your car, the property damage for your car. They will not pay for a rental. They go silent. In that situation, even though it's hard for people to kind of grasp, and not necessarily to grasp, but they don't want to do it, you got to let your insurance pay for your car so you can get another car to get back to work. Otherwise, you might be waiting until the end of litigation before you can get anything from the defendant's insurance company. So you got to keep that in mind also. We've talked about the medical. Another important thing that is medical, but it's this list of the pharmacies that you've gotten medications for 10 years prior to your wreck. Sometimes people come in and honestly forget the places they've been to the doctor. I might forget how many times I've been to a doctor. So if you've got the pharmaceutical records, you can go back and see what doctor actually had given you medication and then trace it back that way. Both automobile and big truck cases are taken on what's called a contingency fee basis. Contingency fee basis simply means this, that if our office prevails for you, we get paid. If our office does not, we do not get paid. So what ends up happening in these cases, people don't have the money to pay an hourly rate to a lawyer to prosecute them. So they give them an amount of money that they can get if they collect or get money from the insurance carrier or the person who hit you. Also, especially in some of the more controverted car wreck cases, and for sure in your tractor trailer or big truck cases, you also have to have experts, because a lot of times if it's a serious injury, people's going to testify as to the future pain and suffering that particular client may have as far as the medical or the physicians are going to see. Sometimes in regards to the psychological issues, you may have to go get an expert to talk about some things that has occurred as a result of the accident, especially if it's a very traumatic accident where they have to end up going to counseling or psychiatrists or psychologists. Also, if it's a serious accident, you may have to go to rehab. When I say rehab, I'm not talking about drug rehab. I'm talking about physical therapy, those type of things, to get you back to a baseline where you are able to do some activities of daily living. You will also possibly, if you've had a serious accident that entails or encompasses your back or your neck, you may have to have what's called future care for that. And that is where you may have to have what's called epidural steroid injections, ablations. Ablations basically goes in, they deaden the nerve, or periodic physical therapy. Another thing that may come about if your condition is ever evolving, especially if you've got a brain injury, with a minor child, is you've got to have an MRI to see how things are progressing in regards to the child usually. Or if you've had a closing injury, the doctors that's overseeing you or you're seeing will probably want to have an MRI ever so often to look to see if it's getting worse, better, et cetera, especially if you have some complaints. So all that being said, as that relates to contingency fee contracts, most of the time the attorney or our office has to front the cost to go out and hire these experts to give an estimation of what all that's going to cost. And so that's more money that would have to be expended by the clients that usually do not have that kind of money. So that's how come it's all done on contingency fee basis. So if you ever are involved in an automobile accident, big truck wreck, commercial carrier, those type of things, contact us at the law offices of Craig L. Cook. We handle both of those type of cases and have done so in my legal career for more than 34 years. So contact us at 479-783-8000. Contact me directly, Craig at lawofficesofcraiglcook.com. Or what most people do is go to my website, Google Law Offices of Craig L. Cook, and it'll come up and it's got a contact window. You just click on it. We are licensed in both Arkansas and Oklahoma. So contact us if you've been involved in an automobile accident, big truck wreck, commercial carrier, etc. Thank you.